Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary and Ronald Records, and we're going to be drinking some Portland water today. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like them. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Howdy, Dank Jr.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Okay, yeah, I'm multi-instrumentalist. I play in multiple bands, but mostly my solo project is Dank Jr., where I play all the drums, the guitar, bass, all that, sing. And so, yeah, I just record all my own stuff in my studio by myself and just get it going, but play out here in town and just try and play all the time.
Oh, yeah. And are you located in Vancouver?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right here.
And what got you into music initially?
Well, man, I always wanted a guitar, growing up, and finally got one when I was 15. But before that, I would jam at my buddy's house after school. He had a drum set and a guitar, so we'd take turns back and forth.
Okay, hell yeah.
School, just goofing around, doing one-note songs,
Yep. Figuring out how to hold just one finger on a fret.
Yeah, just making noise,
That's cool.
And after that, I was hooked, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got a guitar, and then I'm in my bedroom every day after school just playing as much as I can,
I dig
figure
that.
it out, so...
And was anybody in your family musical at all? Or are you the first generation?
Yeah, my uncle still to this day plays in a Beatles cover band.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he plays all the time. My cousin Hector plays. A lot of people play. So I'm not the first one in the family. So,
but was anybody in your immediate household?
No, not really. My parents listen to a lot of music though. So
okay, so at least was appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess for your buddy and stuff they must have been at least okay with having drums in the house. So did you go there a lot in the beginning just to be able to play more loudly?
Yeah, because he had a basement. So
yeah,
that's always ideal.
Did you start a band when you finally got a guitar?
I think I started a band with them before I got a guitar.
Okay.
Because, we wrote a handful of songs and got my buddy Ricardo to sing, and then
perfect.
Next thing we knew, we had a band. So
and I was in a band 2 weeks before I got my first bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddies they were all in a band, and they were like, "Wait, Jimmy, you're gonna be playing bass soon?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Cool, you're our bassist." I'm like, "I don't know how to play." They're like, "You don't have to. We'll teach you."
Sometimes just getting the instrument is half getting the job.
Yeah, exactly. Now I have a couple questions I check in with everybody on. Just kind of fun format questions.
Yeah.
But this first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, that's a good one. Man, the farthest back I remember was when they had a deal on tapes. When I got my first truck, I had a little tape deck in there, so I was like, I got to go get tapes now because that's the only thing that's in my truck. So I think I got Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Okay.
Alice in Chains, Dirt, and Rage Against the Machine, Battle of Los Angeles.
Whoa.
And so that was all I had in my truck
Hey,
for a long time.
those are some quality albums to have to sit through.
Yeah.
I dig that for sure.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was like specifically one you wanted to go to? It's like you saw it was happening, you got tickets, you went to it.
I got goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah, the first really big show I went to was at the Gorge Amphitheater out here in Washington, and it was 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
And that was crazy, man. Like I couldn't move.
I bet.
I was like in a sea of people just riding a wave, you know, like, and yeah, the guitar player hit me in the head with a water bottle. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. Hey, that's how you know it's real.
Yeah. And I was like 17. I was like so stoked.
Oh yeah.
And
who were they playing with? Do you remember?
They were playing with Perfect Circle, I believe.
Okay.
And but we got there late because we got lost going out there, me and my cousin. So,
well, damn, I bet that was still a wild show, though.
yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Also, in the realm of actual today, obviously this comes out at a different time than the one before it. But I think someone else said their first show was a 9 Inch Nails one, too. So, cool continuity point.
Yeah.
But this isn't their interview. And before we get into you in the present day, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think it was that day in the basement, man. Like, you know, like,
so you were just kind of in it.
yeah, I was like, we got to start a band. Like, we got to go play. Like, you know, like, because like we played in the high school talent show twice.
Yeah.
One time playing AC/DC.
Okay.
But you know, we were like, once you play in front of everybody in the school, and that's a big crowd. Like, I was like, I play in front of anybody after that.
Man,
you know?
I guess I've never considered that. When you play for like a school talent show, you're playing for like a few hundred people sometimes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and our school was like one of the biggest schools in Washington, and ton of people there.
Hell yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for. I never considered that before. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But now let's go ahead and let's get on into you in the present day. We're gonna get a super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
Oh man, yeah, I got a Hank Williams Jr. album called Whiskey Benton Bound, I believe. And after I heard that, I was like, I could write songs like this, like, you know. And I was like, I got a couple of them that are halfway like that, and so I started doing that. And so it's kind of a little more country rock at the beginning, but then I was getting more into blues stuff, like old blues stuff. So I started working some of that stuff in there. But yeah, that's where the name came from. It was a play on, it used to be Dank Williams Jr. I shortened it because I was like, I'm not going to.
That's fair. You don't want to get hit with too much of a likeness or anything.
Yeah, because my first album cover, if you look it up, it looks exactly like the Hank Williams one.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
No, I dig that.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about your writing style a little bit. When it comes to getting a track started, what are some of the things you do to kind of create that kind of foundation or get into it?
A lot of looking at the moon late at night. You know, have a couple whiskeys yeah, writing's weird because like sometimes you just be in the shower and something comes and you're like, we gotta get dressed and write it down, you know, like. But yeah, sometimes it comes like, but other times, you know, like I've got songs that I've been sitting on for like 10 years, you know, that still like.
You're like, is it right? Is it this?
Yeah, you know, it's easy to overthink it with that,
very much.
You know, but
now I know in your main stuff, like, do you write all of the instrumentation yourself and like record all of it? Okay. Like, do you usually do you do lyrics first? Do you do drums first? Do you do guitar first? Like, what is usually the leading start sound?
Yeah, I mean, guitar is my main instrument, so most of the times I'll start with that. But a lot of times I'll just imagine the guitar in my head and just drum to it.
Okay.
And just track the drums.
Yeah.
Get the drum track down best I can, and then just start layering everything else on top of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you have access to all the instruments.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, you can lay down everything pretty easy.
Yeah.
And so you do all like natural instruments. You don't do any like plug-in instruments or anything like that for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Just micing it up and running it into the computer.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
And then once you get a track finished writing, How long does it usually take you to feel comfortable to perform it?
That's funny because like there's a couple of songs that I've done where, I've never played it live, but I've done every part in the studio, multiple times. But it takes a little bit of time. Like it usually probably take me like a month practicing the songs sometimes, like just to get, because like I consciously think of the singing when I'm writing the guitar parts, so I know I can play and sing it at the same time, which, because like if you don't think about that ahead of time, then you end up like, oh, I got a really difficult part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sing over it, like, so there's some thought that goes into doing that,
Yeah. And for your own music, you perform with like backing tracks and things like that, or do you like hire a band to play your music with you?
I had a band for a little bit before COVID, and then but then after that, I've been using the backing tracks since it's me playing everything. I'm like, well,
yeah, you already have the
yeah, like the show I did here a couple of weeks ago. I did like about half and half. Like I play acoustic with like the harmonica, and then switch over to like the electric and do some of the songs with that are more rock and roll.
Oh, interesting. So you kind of have a good mix of both.
Yeah.
Did you do like first half like all acoustic, second half all like backing tracks, or did you kind of mix them in?
Yeah, it's just easier to over that way,
back and forth.
Yeah.
No, I dig that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, listening to some of your music, because I was checking it out, and, you got music going back all the way to 2020 on Spotify. But your most recent album, Starlight, was back in 23, and it's actually, it's a really cool album. It's very, it's got a broad variety of sounds.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. But the guitar tone in particular is really good.
Thank you.
Really good. Like, that was the thing. I mean, obviously, your singing was great. The rest of the playing was good. But, like, your tone in particular, I think, really stood out to me, because it still felt like the sounds it was supposed to exist in, but it was clean. It was defined. Like all the effects and things stood out really well without getting too muddy. The tone itself was really well defined. So that was like the big thing that jumped out to me, is that like actual guitar sound was really good.
Cool.
But I was listening through some of it, and I like that some of your tracks are like a little more softer, a little more like laid back, which Death Trap was one that I was like, interesting name for one of the more mellow ones. And then you tracks like Slugger, which are just like almost Sabbath-esque.
Like
it just has that grit to it.
Yeah.
But I do this bit where I pick out one that I really enjoyed, and I actually went back a little bit and I chose Living Too Fast.
Okay.
That was it was really fun. It was just like, it was off the mountain, or it's off the album Mountain High.
Right.
And it was fast. It was in your face. It was big sounding.
Yeah.
I mean, the solo towards the second half was really good. It was a really fun track in general. But I'm curious to know, what was one of your favorite tracks to perform?
That one stays in rotation actually on the list.
Hell yeah.
It's just fun to play, and it's got the hot rod sound at the end. So, that one's really fun to play live. And I really like spent a lot of time on the Starlight song itself, and was pretty stoked on how that one turned out, because a lot of trying to do some Skynyrd stuff, like 3 guitars and stuff. So
So do you have is that one of the ones you do like backing tracks on foot, or like do you just hire 2 more guitar players?
No, I haven't really played that one live too much. I've played it twice live, but like I've done it with the backing tracks, and I just have the harmonies on there, on some of the solo parts.
Oh yeah, no, I dig that.
But I'm I'm working on getting a band together. So
and then looking at like newer music you're working on, so like stuff that maybe hasn't come out yet. What can we look forward to as far as like, like new sounds or different approaches? Like, what are you doing for new music right now?
Yeah, I've got a couple new songs out. There's the Voodoo one that came out on the Ronald Records compilation. And then I've got a brand new one that's called Whiskey on Ice. Is more just a straight blues kind of jam. But it's a little bit more of that kind of stuff. I got a new song that's actually kind of got more of like a Latin drum kind of thing going on.
Okay.
Like Spanish guitar type stuff. So that's a little bit different, but exploring, just like I did on the last album, just whatever I think sounds cool, I'm going to try and make a song like that. So
no, I dig that for sure.
I'm
definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And now I want to take a moment. We're going to zoom out. We're going to look at kind of music as a whole.
Okay.
What are some of the things about either like new music that coming out, or like at least new music to you, that you're like finding like inspiration and enjoyment from at the moment?
Oh, I listen to a lot of KMHD driving around, the local jazz station, and
Yeah.
there's always different stuff. And like, because I've listened to so much like heavy metal and classic rock, like, and I still do, but like most of the time I'm looking for something different nowadays, like just to kind of broaden my mind and like come up with some different ideas, like when I heard stuff like Bad Bad Not Good.
I really like Bad Bad Not Good.
Oh my God, I was like, that inspired me to write some new stuff and write some more stuff like Lee Fields and the expressions, like doing that, just kind of just groove, like that stuff's been pretty working its way into my
very much
riffage,
so. No, I dig that.
Yeah,
that's cool. I appreciate that you can like that you're still at this point, like willing to like expand out into other genres and things like that.
Yeah,
especially nowadays, I feel like the blending of genres is kind of happening so organically. Like if you only stay listening to the one thing, you're not even going to be caught up with everybody when they get to the point where they're putting out new stuff. Cause it's like, like, yes, you can put kind of anything in anything nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
So I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think anybody's ever mentioned Bad Bad Not Good on the show. That's the first time, but
check it out. I mean,
everybody definitely after this.
Yeah.
Definitely go check them out because that's a really cool one.
Yeah.
And then before we get into the next one or the next portion of the interview, this next one's probably the densest question on the interview.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, but when it's just you and the music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
It's like meditating, man. Like I'm less angry, less stressed out. Just feel better. Like there's no other way to describe it. You just feel better after doing it. And a lot of people don't have that ability to do something like that,
that outlet.
The outlet. And like, I'm glad I do because I'd probably lose my mind,
No, I totally understand that.
It's therapeutic for sure.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Do you do it like when you say like it makes you feel like less angry or frustrated? It's like, will you be having a bad day and like go sit down and play, or like, but because you do it so often, do you just find that you don't reach that place?
Yeah, I mean, I play all the time just to stay,
Yeah, just to stay kind of level.
Stay like calm, yeah.
No, I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Cool.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Oh, man. It'd be cool to sit in a room with Willie.
Hell yeah. Man, he is still kicking.
Yeah.
That is impressive in and of its own right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oh, man. There's any of the bands I've played with here, it was like, let's get together and jam, yeah, I'm not really sure. There's like, because I feel like everybody I talk to is from all over, everywhere, spread out. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess like who are some of the people you've seen around here recently that you're like, man, this would be a good band to like jump on a show with?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen my friend Dumpster Joe. He plays all the time, and he plays like fingerpick, like dobro guitar.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Like does like old ragtime songs.
Oh yeah.
We did do an album together, but we need to do another one, I think.
Yeah, no, I dig that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, add him in the comments. Let's see if we can get him to do it again.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, but it's pretty literal in this sense. If you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, is guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere.
Okay.
Where would you want to perform?
Oh man, Grand Canyon.
Hell yeah! Like, would you want to play at the top? Would you want to play down in the bottom? Would you want to play like suspended on a bridge? Like,
yeah, probably suspended. That'd be pretty sick.
I dig that. Get like a floating platform that's held by 4 helicopters. Yeah. It's got the room.
Yeah. Imagine the guitar tone out there, man.
Oh, man.
Natural reverb.
Reverb, yeah. You can leave those at home for sure.
Yeah.
No, that would be cool. And then If you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday.
Yeah.
Who would you want an album from?
Oh man, like they keep putting out new ones, thankfully, like lost recordings, but Rory Gallagher is one of my biggest guitar influences, an Irish guitar player from like the 70s. Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Damn.
Yeah, if you never heard him.
I have not actually. Yeah. I'll check them out after.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's like the Irish Hendrix.
Oh, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
Okay, now I definitely have to.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between now and the end of the year?
I got Field Fest coming up in August out in Woodland. Mm-hmm. I got about 8 more songs I'm about ready to put out, so a lot more music coming.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, have a backing band here.
I was gonna say, when do you think that's going to come out?
I've narrowed it down. I want to do it in the next month or two. So
okay, so it's definitely before the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a name picked up for it yet?
I was gonna have something to do with barbecue, but I don't know. Then I have to write a barbecue song.
That's fair. Well,
marinating on it.
Oh, hey, good barbecue bit. All right, for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can get it on dankjr.com. All the links to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Best way to find it, on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming. You can check it out.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout-outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Oh, man. I don't know.
Really fine. All right. That being said, we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout-out to the Brothers Apothecary and Ronald Records and Portland Water. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like them. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know. It's one you think everybody should know.
Good. Looking through my records mentally. Baby Huey and the Babysitters.
Okay.
It's the old 70s one.
Yeah.
Or Them Changes by Buddy Miles.
Ooh.
It's incredible album.
Yeah.
Like those are older albums, but I was like, when I heard those, they blew me away.
I mean, I think those are definitely from like a kind of a good time for that type of music.
Yeah.
But I think, older albums are definitely worth a revisit just on principle. So those are really good suggestions.
Yeah, nothing like a good drummer and a good horn section.
That's true. Man, horns are such a lost art in like present day music. They're just so hard to like obtain in the right space and not be called ska for some reason.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get some horns on some of these new recordings. So
yeah. Well, hey, actually, everybody, if you know any horns players, add them in the comments. Let's see if we can make that happen too.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Dank Jr.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.